part 41, 42, 43 and 44 of the Batmobile Tumbler build. Issue 41, the steering rack. Place the steering rack 41A downwards so that the ratchet part faces down. You then take the two steering arms 41B and you connect these together with EM screws. So there's the EM screws. That's the first one. So if you just tighten it, so it's a bit tight, and then slacken it off slightly so it's got no play in it, but there is movement. And we do the same for the other side. Yeah, and that part is now complete. On to the next step. Next, we're going to reinstall the steering motor 31A, which we removed from the board and the wiring harness, and that is number 2. And then that will fit into the slot for the motor. Then you've got a, just make sure it's in properly, then you've got a cover 41C, which is this cover here, which is the square section of it fits onto the bottom, and then we screw together with AM screws. Right, we stick a little bit of oil on the screw because we're screwing into metal. Yeah, that's on to the next step. Next, we're going to install the steering rack to the steering arms. First of all, I normally like to cut the screws, cut the threads. So I just oil the AIM screw, then screw it in, then take the screw back out so the threads are already there. So when we put the steering rack on, it will make it easier to screw together. Next, we install the steering rack. I found it easier to jump to one step ahead and actually screw this steering rack on first before connecting it to the steering arms. So if I just gonna find near enough the center, and then we will screw these together with UM screws. I've oiled them first before I've screwed him in, so I've screwed him in and then unscrewed him to cut the thread already. Now that the steering rack is being screwed on at these points here, then we can actually connect the rods to the steering rack on both sides with AIM screws. One, and we'll do the same for the other side. So that's the steering assembly attached to the front bulkhead. Issue 42 is the chassis. Next, we place the chassis on the bench. We then take 31B, which is a micro switch from the number 3 from the harness. We then place that with a micro, I think you'd only go one way round, with a micro switch to the front, and then we will screw in a WM screw. I'm going to oil this first. And that's now installed. We then take 31C, which is marked as number 4, and we install this on the other side, and we screw with a WM screw. Yeah, it looks like I've got a faulty micro switch. If you notice, it doesn't spring back like the other one. This one, it does sometimes. So it's stopped there, and if you press down on the thing, it pops. So I might try putting a bit of glue on the bit of plastic there, but I'll probably contact Hachette for a replacement. You see, it's press it, moves. I've tried tightening it a bit more, exactly the same, slackening the thing off, it's a bit better, but I guess something to do with the casing. So I might, because I noticed the case is a little bit of play the casing, so I might try to put a bit of cyano on it, see if it will fix it. There we are, a bit of cyano on the casing, and it seems to have fixed it. So the casing was a little bit loose on the plastic, so I'll see how that goes. Next, we'll fit the installation tape strips on the cable just to hold them onto the chassis. That's one, and I'll do the same for the other. Issue 43, left side of cage. Take cable 34B, the LEDs marked as number 16. We then have to bend at the LEDs at the end, so use a pair of tweezers. So yeah, that's bent, and we do the same for the other one. We then retrieve the cockpit. So the one with the two cables go into the facing forward to the front of the cockpit, and we probably have to glue that in, and then the other one then will go into that side. Yes, I think I'm gonna use because it's very slack in it, so I think I'm gonna use a bit of, you could probably tape it there and that will hold it in, but I think I'd probably put a little bit of cyano on the LED just to hold them in. Right, they are now glued in with a little bit of cyano, and I've now taped that. Next, take the left hand cage side. It is marked with a letter L, and we locate the lug. There's a couple of lugs there, and there, and we locate them into these positions here. Now we've located this piece in. There you can see they're into position, and then we have 4 EP screws. One to go there, 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 and one here. So we'll just do that now. So that part is complete now. So we're going to do exactly the same for the right hand side. I don't think I'm going to go through step by step because it's actually just a duplicate of this side. Issue 44, right side of cage. Right, that's the right hand side finished. I didn't glue the LEDs on this one. It looks like the frame actually holds them in. You know, you can pull them out like that, but when you pop it in, it still stays in. So I'll see how it goes. If they start to become a pain and they start to fall out of the time, I'll probably put a little bit of cyano, just a spot to hold them in. Next we need to retrieve 13A. Then we take 32B, which is the strip light, and then we will stick it on there. So it looks probably where there's a resistor by here. I'm lining it up with there's a dimple on there. Well, that's probably the best place to put it, I think, by looking at it. And then this will bend back and then come through there. So we do is just pull off a little bit at a time and just press down. That looks good. And that'll just bend back and then come back through there. There's a little groove that this cable fits into. So we'll locate this part to the front of the dash. You see a screw hole there, and there's a hole there and a hole there, and we just got to make sure that we don't trap the cable, so it has to go through the groove there, and then you can just see where the locating holes are to go on the front there. The front now complete with the LED strips. So I'll just put this to the side until we need it next.